As we continue our coverage, we want to go live to CBS 2's Derrick Waller with reaction from near the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Derrick, what have you seen?
Christine, Maurice, good evening to you. You can probably hear behind me those anti-Trump protesters. They're going through every count and noting that each one of those counts landed with a guilty verdict. You can hear them right now. We're standing at Worth and Center Streets, and basically we're just south of the courthouse. North of us, Center Street is closed, shut down to traffic, of course, because of the historic nature of today's proceedings. Let's show you some video that we just shot a few moments ago showing some of the crowds that are stationed just outside the courthouse. I wouldn't say it's a large group of people, but certainly you do have protesters, both pro-Trump and anti-Trump. You see that sign there. Trump is guilty. And then down the block, actually down Worth Street a little bit closer toward the federal courthouses, you've got some pro-Trump protesters with their own signs as well. Police, we've noticed, have been trying to keep them separate. At one point, you did have somebody with a Trump flag run through this anti-Trump protest, and you saw the police respond to that. So far, relatively peaceful here. We did have a moment to speak with some of the protesters. Here's a little bit of what they had to say.
This is criminal, and what he did is really serious, and it was election interference, and I'm really glad the jury came in with their verdict.
We're both in shock, but I think it's actually going to help them. I think it'll bring attention to what a farce this was, and we're going to add support, and we're still going to win.
So as you saw there, you've got two people who are super engaged in the political system, and they're out here voicing their opinions. We're going to stay out here and monitor the situation outside the courtroom. Christine, Maurice, back to you.
Okay, Derrick Waller, thank you so much. We're going to go back to the chopper shot, Chopper 2, over the east side of Manhattan, and the former president is approaching his home there, Trump Tower, that is in the mid-50s, right off of Fifth Avenue, between 5th and Madison, getting to his home.
Building.
You can only imagine what that ride was like coming uptown after this kind of day, historic day and deflating kind of day for the former president.
Well, we heard Alice say that he did look a bit red-faced once they learned that the jury reached a verdict, and then she also mentioned that he just looked straight ahead while the various guilty verdicts were read on each of the 34 counts. So it is a very long trip from the courthouse over to the east side. There's the former president right there getting out of his SUV with his team surrounding him. We also saw his son, Eric Trump, at the courthouse. You can see him waving there to some of his, we would assume, his supporters. And as he continues to be very defiant, even in regards to this jury convicting him on all 34 counts today in this criminal case.
Also worth noting that within a couple minutes, he put out a fundraising letter right there 2 minutes before he spoke to the cameras. It was out there, and you can expect a lot more of that. A defiant and, quite frankly, angry disposition as he came out of the courtroom, and there he is waving to supporters and whomever there on Fifth Avenue as he gets ready to go inside.
A lot of the same body language that we've seen from him over and over again, even on the campaign trail, with his fist up in the air, thanking his supporters, and he is continuing along that same path. And
calling the whole thing a witch hunt, as he has from the start. All right, there's the former president getting to his home. Meantime, crowds gathered after the verdict in Times Square. We also have a crowd right there. That looks like the other side of Fifth Avenue from his home, right?
Exactly.
And it's tough to tell what that looks like there. Is Dan Rice available in Chopper 2? Dan, are you up there? Can you tell us what you see?
Yes, Maurice, what you saw when the former president came out of his SUV there, he walked over on 56th Street over to Fifth Avenue, and this is part of the crowd that he was waving to. This line, it's a little hard to see from the angle we have, as you can imagine, a lot of choppers up here, but this line extends from 56th Street almost up to 57th Street, the entire west side of Fifth Avenue, lined with the supporters, people trying to get a glimpse of the former president. But that's the crowd that you can see there that was waiting for a glimpse of the former president as he came back to Trump Tower here on Fifth Avenue.
And Dan, you can tell those are supporters, not protesters?
You know, we got here so quick, Maurice. It was a little hard to see. Most of them seemed to be supporters, but again, we didn't get a good look around the other side of the building to see if there are other signs or what have you out there. But it appeared to be a pro-Trump crowd as he approached them from 56th Street.
Got it. Okay.
And a good amount of news media as well there on the corner that we can see.
It appears to be peaceful. 56th and 5th Avenue right there. All right, Dan, thank you. Meantime, the crowds did gather after the verdict in Times Square. CBS 2's Zinnia Maldonado is in Times Square right now with what people are saying there. Zinnia?
Well, Maurice and Christine, we've been talking to folks, you know, here in Times Square. These are people from not only across the city, but the state, the country, even international folks, all weighing in with reaction to today's verdict. The first time a U.S. former president has been convicted of a crime. So, of course, a lot of people with a lot to say. And what I can add, though, is that the common denominator amongst all of the folks we spoke to, though, is confidence they say they have in the U.S. justice system. Take a listen.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me knowing Donald Trump. At the end of the day, I don't know if it's going to make a difference. He still may get reelected. Our country's kind of in a weird place, but it's disappointing, I guess. That's all I can say is it's disappointing.
It shouldn't matter who you are or what you do. If you do the crime, you deserve what's coming to you.
Everybody got to, you know, they got to follow the law. The law's not made just for certain people. It's made for everybody to follow.
It's insane. That's never happened before in history. So this is something that we're living, and I don't even know how this is going to turn out. I'm shocked. Honestly, I'm shocked.
And as you just heard, yes, some people say they're shocked. Others will say they're not shocked to see this come out. But another thing that people are adding is now they're going to be on the edge of their seats over the next couple of weeks, seeing how all of this plays out. And of course, we're going to stay on top of it. For now, we're live from Times Square. Zinnia Maldonado, CBS 2 News.
Zinnia, thank you.